The great hall of the Galactic Federation buzzed with worried voices. Representatives from dozens of worlds sat in their floating chairs, all talking at once. Their translator devices worked overtime, turning alien words into sounds others could understand. At the center of it all sat Ambassador KL Chen. He was the only human in the room, and he looked very small next to the massive Draknari warriors or the tall, crystal-like beings from the Zephyr worlds. But Chen sat quietly, his hands folded, listening to everything. The worry in the room was about one thing: the Void Swarm. They have consumed 3 more star systems this month, announced Counselor Vrax, his reptilian head turning to look at each representative. The outer rim colonies are gone. Billions of lives lost. A shimmer of light showed images in the center of the room. Dead worlds. Empty space where planets used to be. Ships that had been turned into strange, black metal that hurt to look at. The swarm moves toward the core worlds, said Counselor Zara, her crystal body flashing red with alarm. At this speed, they will reach Earth in 6 months. All eyes turned to Chen. The human representative looked calm, almost sleepy. This made the aliens even more worried. Ambassador Chen, Vrax said, his voice gentle like he was talking to a child. Your world is in great danger. We must act quickly. Chen nodded. I understand your concern. The Draknari High Command offers our battle fleets, announced General Koreth, standing up to his full 8 feet of height. 200 warships. Each one can destroy a small moon. The Zephyrian Empire will provide energy shields, added Counselor Zara. Our barriers have protected our worlds for 10,000 years. The Crystalline Collective offers our planet cracker weapons, said another voice. We can turn asteroids into dust. We can move moons. One by one, the great powers of the galaxy offered their help. Ships that could travel faster than light. Weapons that could burn through anything. Shields that could stop stars from exploding. Technologies that humans had never seen and could not even imagine. Chen listened to it all. When they finished, he stood up slowly. Thank you, he said. Earth is honored by your generous offers. The room waited. Chen smiled. But we must decline. The silence was so complete that the air recycling systems seemed loud. Vrax's mouth fell open. Zara's crystal body stopped flashing entirely. I'm sorry, Vrax said finally. Did you say decline? Yes, Chen replied. We appreciate your concern. But Earth will defend itself. General Koreth made a sound like angry steam escaping. Ambassador, with respect, your species has barely left your home star system. You have no energy shields, no plasma cannons, no reality-bending technology. This enemy has destroyed civilizations that are millions of years old. We understand the risks, Chen said calmly. Do you? Zara's voice was high with worry. The Void Swarm doesn't just kill. It consumes. It turns everything into more of itself. Planets, stars, even space itself becomes part of the swarm. Nothing has ever stopped them. Your longest war lasted 6 of your years, added another representative, a floating gas cloud being. The Void Swarm has been eating galaxies since before your son was born. Chen's smile never changed. We understand. Thank you for explaining. Then you will accept our protection? Vrax asked hopefully. No, but thank you for offering. The room exploded into noise. Representatives stood up, waved tentacles, flashed lights, made sounds of disbelief. Some spoke in their own languages, forgetting about the translators. This is madness, Koreth roared. Your weapons are primitive, shouted another voice. Your technology is thousands of years behind ours. You don't even have faster-than-light travel. Chen waited for the noise to die down. When it did, he spoke again. We are grateful for your concern, but Earth's answer is no. Vrax leaned forward. His yellow eyes were full of pain. Ambassador, We are not trying to insult your species. We know humans are brave, but bravery alone cannot stop the Void Swarm. Please, let us help you. If you stay, Zara added, you will all die. Your entire species will be consumed. Chen looked around the room at all the worried faces. These beings had traveled from across the galaxy to offer help to a world they barely knew. They were good people, trying to do the right thing. I understand your feelings, Chen said. But our answer remains the same. Earth will handle this matter. He gathered his papers and stood to leave. As he walked toward the door, voices followed him. At least let us evacuate your people. We can find new worlds for humans to live on. Please. Don't let pride destroy your entire race. Chen stopped at the door and turned back. His smile was still there. But now, it seemed different. Not naive or foolish. Something else. Pride has nothing to do with it, he said. We simply know what we're capable of. After Chen left, the Great Hall stayed noisy for hours. Some representatives wanted to protect Earth anyway, even if the humans said no. Others thought they should let the humans learn the hard way. A few suggested that human pride was too strong, and they would never accept help until it was too late. None of them noticed that Chen's smile had not been the expression of someone who didn't understand danger. It was the smile of someone who knew something the others didn't. In his quarters that night, Chen sent a simple message back to Earth. They offered protection. I declined, as instructed, proceeding to Phase 2. The response came back immediately. Understood. Begin preparations. Chen looked out his window at the stars. Somewhere out there, the Void Swarm was coming. And somewhere else, Earth was getting ready. But not in any way the galaxy would expect. 3 months passed since the meeting at the Federation Council. News reports across the galaxy painted a grim picture. The Void Swarm had consumed 2 more star systems. Refugee ships crowded around core worlds, bringing stories of horror from the outer rim. But Earth seemed strangely quiet. Kira Voss, a news reporter from the Altarian Broadcasting Network, floated in her ship just outside Earth's solar system. Her camera drones captured images of the small blue planet as she spoke to viewers across the galaxy. This is day 93 since Earth refused galactic protection, she said. What we're seeing here defies all logic. The camera showed normal space traffic around Earth. Ships came and went. Trade continued. Life seemed to go on exactly as it always had. Military experts predicted we would see massive defense construction by now. Kira continued. Weapons, platforms, shield generators, evacuation ships. Instead, Earth appears completely unchanged. Her producer's voice crackled through the communication system. Any signs of panic among the human population? None that we can detect. Children still attend their learning centers. Markets operate normally. If these humans know about the approaching threat, they're not showing it. Back on Earth, Dr. Sarah Kim stood in a simple room with white walls. She was Earth's defense coordinator, but her office looked more like a teacher's workspace than a military command center. When galactic reporters requested interviews, she usually met them here. Dr. Kim asked a Zephyrian journalist, his crystal body flashing blue with confusion. Can you comment on Earth's defensive preparations? We are taking appropriate measures, Sarah replied calmly. Can you give us details about these measures? We prefer not to discuss our security arrangements. But surely your people deserve to know what protection you're providing? Sarah's smile was polite but firm. Our people trust us to handle the situation appropriately. The journalist tried again. Military analysts say Earth has no weapons capable of fighting the Void Swarm. How do you respond? Ender. Military analysts often work with incomplete information. After the interview, the frustrated journalist filed his report. Human leadership remains mysteriously confident, despite having no visible means of defense. But while reporters saw nothing unusual, Some things were happening that they couldn't detect. Captain Torm of the Zephyrian Navy had volunteered to position his cruiser near Earth's outer system. His mission was unofficial. If the humans changed their minds about protection, his ship would be ready to help. Navigation. Take us to the edge of their solar system, Torm ordered. Yes, Captain. Setting course for. Captain. I'm getting strange readings. Torm looked at the displays. His ship's computers were showing energy signatures that made no sense. What kind of readings? Man. I'm not sure, sir. The scanners show normal space, but then they show something else. Like there's equipment here, but also not here. That's impossible. Run a full diagnostic. The diagnostic came back normal, but as they moved deeper into the solar system, the readings got stranger. The ship's navigation system started giving contradictory information. Sensors showed empty space, then showed massive structures, then empty space again. Captain, his weapons officer reported, our targeting computers are malfunctioning. They're tracking objects that aren't there. What do you mean? The system shows targets all around us, big ones. But visual confirmation shows nothing. Torm frowned. Are we under attack? No signs of weapons fire. But our systems are acting like we're surrounded by enemy ships. The problems got worse the closer they came to Earth. Life support systems started running diagnostics for no reason. The ship's computer began asking for authorization codes that didn't exist. Even the food replicators started producing the wrong meals. This is insane, Torm muttered. How can primitive human technology affect our systems? His first officer looked worried. Captain, maybe we should withdraw. Torm wanted to stay and figure out what was happening. But his ship was becoming unreliable. If there was a real emergency, he wouldn't be able to help anyone. Set course away from the system, he ordered reluctantly. As soon as they left the solar system, all problems stopped. Every system returned to normal. It was as if nothing had ever been wrong. Other ships reported similar experiences. Federation vessels found their instruments going crazy near Earth. Some captains reported feeling watched, even though sensors showed empty space. A few ships had to retreat when their computer systems started receiving data streams that their programmers said couldn't exist. Word spread quietly through the galactic fleet. Don't get too close to the human system. Something strange was happening there. On the planet's surface, humans continued their daily lives. Ji-Hun Park taught his engineering students at Seoul University. Maria Santos sold fresh bread in her shop in Sao Paulo. Ahmed Hassan worked his night shift at the solar power station in Cairo. But sometimes, if you knew what to look for, you might notice small things. More military personnel taking training exercises. Government workers arriving early and staying late. An unusual number of people with engineering backgrounds taking vacation time to visit family in remote areas. The moon looked the same as always. But occasionally, shadows moved across its surface in patterns that didn't match any known lunar activity. Mars appeared normal to passing ships, but deep space monitoring stations sometimes detected energy bursts from the red planet that lasted exactly 3.7 seconds and then stopped. Jupiter's moons continued their ancient orbits, but their radio emissions had changed frequency by exactly 0.3%. Such a small change that only the most careful observers would notice. Dr. Kim received daily reports in her simple office. Papers with numbers and charts that looked like weather data or economic statistics. She read them carefully, made notes, and filed them away. How are the preparations proceeding? Asked General Martinez during their weekly meeting. On schedule, Sarah replied. All systems are responding within acceptable parameters. And the Federation ships? They're maintaining distance as expected. The interference protocols are working. Any signs they suspect anything? Sarah shook her head. They believe we're in denial or preparing to die with dignity. Either way, they're leaving us alone. Good. How much more time do we need? 2 months to full readiness. But we can engage earlier if necessary. As reports continued to flow in from across the galaxy, a pattern became clear to those watching. The void swarm was coming. Earth was doing nothing to stop it. And for some reason, this made the humans smile. Not the smile of people who had given up. The first detection came from Outpost 7, a Draknari listening station at the edge of the galaxy. Sensor operator Grix was finishing his shift when every alarm in the facility started screaming. "Contact! Multiple contacts on the rim!" he shouted into his communicator. The images that appeared on his screen made his blood go cold. Dark shapes moving between the stars. Each one was huge, bigger than most space stations. But these weren't ships. They were alive. "How many?" his commander demanded. Grix counted until he realized counting was pointless. Thousands. Maybe tens of thousands. Within hours, every military force in the galaxy knew. The void swarm had reached the edge of their territory. And it was moving fast. The creatures moved through space like fish through water. They had no ships because they didn't need them. Each entity was a ship, a weapon, and a factory all combined into one terrifying whole. They absorbed light, heat, and radiation from everything around them, growing larger as they traveled. Emergency broadcasts filled the galactic communication networks. All civilian traffic avoid sectors 7 through 12. Evacuation ships standing by at core world stations. Military fleets moving to defensive positions. But most of the messages were about one small blue planet. Final offer of evacuation to Earth. Please respond. Human government, we are begging you. Let us help. Emergency Federation vote. Should we protect Earth against their wishes? The answer came from Admiral Jin Park, speaking from somewhere on Earth. His image appeared on screens across the galaxy, a calm man in a simple uniform, standing in what looked like a normal office. "People of the galaxy," he said, "we thank you for your continued concern for Earth's safety. We ask that you maintain a safe distance from our solar system for your own protection." The message was so shocking that many thought it was a translation error. Humans were warning the galaxy to stay away? For the galaxy's protection? "These humans have lost their minds," muttered General Korath as he watched the broadcast. "They're trying to protect us? They have no weapons, no shields, no fleet." But Captain Lyra, commanding a Federation observation ship, was looking at her instruments with growing confusion. "Captain," her science officer said, "I'm reading some very strange energy signatures from the human system." "What kind of signatures?" I don't know. My instruments say there's nothing unusual. But then they say there's massive energy sources everywhere. The readings keep changing. Sensor malfunction? I've run diagnostics 6 times. Everything checks out normal." Lyra frowned. Other ships had reported similar problems. Maybe the approaching void swarm was affecting their equipment somehow. The first wave of void entities reached the outer edge of Earth's solar system 3 days later. The Federation observation fleet watched from what they thought was a safe distance. "Visual contact," reported the sensor operator on Lyra's ship. 12 large entities. Each one approximately moon-sized. The creatures looked like giant insects made of black metal and empty space. They had no definite shape, their bodies seemed to shift and flow like liquid darkness. Where they passed, space itself looked different. Dimmer. Emptier. "They're scanning the system," the operator continued. "Energy pulses directed at Earth. The entities moved with purpose, spreading out to surround the solar system. This was their standard pattern. They would encircle a system, then close in from all sides. Nothing could escape." "Any response from Earth?" Lyra asked. "Negative. No energy signatures. No weapons charging. No defensive movements. It looked like the humans were simply waiting to die." The void entities began their approach toward Earth. They moved slowly, deliberately, like predators that knew their prey couldn't run. That's when things started getting strange. The first entity to reach Mars suddenly stopped moving. Its dark form hung in space, motionless. "Is it dead?" someone asked. "No," the sensor operator replied. "It's scanning, very intensively, like it's confused about something." More entities reached the inner system. All of them stopped. Their energy pulses became more frequent, more intense. They seemed to be trying to understand something. Then Jupiter lit up. Every moon around the giant planet suddenly blazed with energy. Not normal energy that ships used, but something else. Something that made the observation fleet's instruments scream warnings. "What is that?" Lyra demanded. "Unknown energy type," her science officer said, his voice shaking. "The readings are..." "Captain, this isn't possible." "What isn't possible?" "The energy output. It's bigger than our entire fleet could produce. But it's not coming from ships. It's coming from the moons themselves." As if responding to some signal, Mars began to glow, not with reflected sunlight, but with its own internal light. Energy patterns raced across its surface like lightning. "Are the humans terraforming Mars?" someone asked. "No," the science officer whispered. "Mars is waking up." The void entities tried to continue their approach. But something was wrong with space around Earth. Their movement patterns became erratic. Some moved forward, then backward, like they couldn't find their way. "Their navigation is being disrupted," observed the tactical officer. "By what? I don't see any human jamming technology." "I don't think it's jamming. I think space itself is different here." The moon was changing too. Its surface rippled like water, and massive structures began emerging. Not built structures, grown ones. Like the moon was some kind of seed that was finally sprouting. Earth's magnetic field, usually invisible, became visible. It pulsed and shifted, forming geometric patterns that hurt to look at directly. The planet's aurora expanded beyond the poles, wrapping around the entire world like a protective shell. The first void entity that tried to approach Earth directly simply disappeared. One moment it was there, the next moment it was gone. No explosion, no debris, just empty space. "Where did it go?" Lyra asked. I don't know. My instruments show it's still there, but also not there." "Captain, I think we need to retreat further." "Absolutely not. We're staying to observe." "Captain, with respect, I don't think we're safe here." As if to prove the point, one of the smaller observation ships suddenly reported that all their navigation systems had failed. They were flying blind, unable to tell which direction was which. "Emergency retreat," Lyra ordered. "All ships, pull back to minimum safe distance." As the Federation fleet retreated, they continued watching the impossible scene in Earth's solar system. The void swarm, which had never been stopped by anything, was failing to even approach the human homeworld. More entities disappeared. Others began moving away from Earth, their dark forms seeming smaller somehow. The creatures that had consumed entire civilizations were retreating from a single planet. And from Earth came a simple message. Broadcast on all frequencies. "This is Admiral Park of Earth Defense Command. The situation is under control. Please, maintain your distance for safety reasons. We'll contact you when it's over. F. Where are F. Captain Lyra looked at her trembling hands. 30 years in the Federation Navy, and she had never seen anything like this. "What are the humans?" she whispered. Her science officer, staring at readings that shouldn't exist, could only shake his head. "I don't know. But they're not what we thought they were." Captain Lyra thought she had seen everything the universe could offer. She was wrong. As her ship watched from what should have been a safe distance, Earth's solar system transformed into something that shouldn't exist. The planet itself was fighting back. and it was winning. "Captain," her science officer said, his voice barely above a whisper, "Earth's gravity is changing." "What do you mean, changing?" "It's not just pulling things toward the planet anymore. It's shaping, moving, in patterns. Some of the void entities are being pulled into specific orbits, and they can't break free." On the main screen, they watched something impossible. Void entities, each one capable of consuming a moon, were trapped in invisible cages made of twisted space. They struggled and writhed, but couldn't escape. "The planet is hunting them," Lyra whispered. Earth's magnetic field had become visible as sheets of colored light that moved through space like living things. Where these lights touched the void creatures, the dark beings began to change. Their black, flowing forms started to break apart. "Energy readings from Earth's magnetosphere," reported the sensor station. "It's not just deflecting solar radiation anymore. It's weaponized." Mars joined the fight in a way that made seasoned military officers question their sanity. The red planet's surface cracked open like an eggshell, revealing structures underneath that pulsed with unknown energy. Beams of light shot out from Mars, but they didn't travel in straight lines. They curved and twisted through space, following paths that defied physics. "Those beams are following the void entities," the tactical officer observed. Even when they try to dodge, Jupiter's moons had become something else entirely. What looked like natural satellites were now clearly artificial weapons platforms that had been disguised as rocks for who knew how long. Energy cascaded between them, creating a web of power that covered half the solar system. But the most terrifying thing was Earth's sun. "Captain," the science officer said, his hands shaking as he worked his controls, "the star is responding to commands." "That's impossible. Look at the readings." Solar flares are erupting in specific patterns. They're being directed at individual void entities. The humans are using their own sun as a weapon. A void entity tried to flee the system. Solar radiation, focused and shaped by devices hidden on Mercury, reached out like a giant hand and dragged it back. The creature was pulled into the sun's corona, where it burned away to nothing. "They're not just defending," Lyra realized. "They're exterminating." The void swarm had consumed thousands of civilizations by adapting to any threat. Whatever defense a species used, the swarm learned to counter it. But against Earth's defenses, adaptation made things worse. Every time a void entity tried a new approach, Earth's systems seemed to know what was coming. When the creatures tried to phase through solid matter, Earth's gravity grabbed them anyway. When they tried to consume energy, the planet fed them something that made them sick. When they tried to split into smaller pieces, each piece was hunted down separately. "It's like they've fought this exact enemy before," observed the tactical officer. Admiral Park's voice came across the communication channels, calm as ever. "Federation observers, we recommend you move back another 1,000,000 kilometers. We're about to begin final cleanup." "Final cleanup?" Lyra repeated. "What does that mean?" She got her answer quickly. Earth's defenses shifted from hunting individual entities to something much more comprehensive. Space around the sun began to ripple, and every void creature in the solar system was suddenly pulled toward the star. Not pulled by gravity, pulled by something else that grabbed them through dimensions the Federation couldn't detect. "They're cleaning house," the science officer said in amazement. "Every single entity. All at once." The last of the void swarm disappeared into Earth's sun. But the human weapons didn't stop there. Energy swept outward from the solar system, following trails the creatures had left behind. Somewhere out there, other parts of the swarm were being destroyed before they could reach Earth. How far does their reach extend? Lyra wondered aloud. Dr. Kim's voice joined the communication channel, speaking from her simple office on Earth. "Federation observers, thank you for your patience. We're conducting final system diagnostics now. Please stand by." System diagnostics. like they had just completed a routine maintenance check instead of destroying an enemy that had conquered half the galaxy. "Dr. Kim," Lyra transmitted, "can you explain what we just witnessed?" "Certainly. Earth's planetary defense systems functioned as designed. We detected the void swarm 6 months ago and began preparations. All entities have been neutralized. But how? Your technology was supposed to be primitive." There was a pause. Then Dr. Kim's voice returned, with something that might have been amusement. "Captain Lyra, may I ask what you think a primitive species is?" Species that haven't developed advanced technology. Energy weapons, faster than light travel, matter, manipulation." "I see. And what do you call a species that can turn its entire star system into a weapon? That can manipulate gravity and magnetism on a planetary scale? That can reach across space to destroy enemies light years away?" Lyra had no answer. "You call Earth a death world because of our dangerous environment, Doctor," Kim continued. "Storms, earthquakes, volcanoes, ice ages. You're right. Our planet spent billions of years trying to kill everything on it. But you survived." "We did more than survive, Captain. We learned to control what was trying to kill us. We turned our dangerous world into our weapon. Every system that made Earth deadly became part of our defense network." The truth hit Lyra like a physical blow. "How long have you been able to do this?" "We've been preparing Earth's defenses since we first realized other life existed in the galaxy. The dangerous planet that you thought would destroy us? We made it into the galaxy's protector." Admiral Park's voice returned. "All void entities in this region of space have been eliminated. Federation fleet, you are clear to approach. Solar system is now safe for all peaceful vessels." As Lyra's ship moved back toward Earth, she noticed something remarkable. Space felt different here. Her instruments worked better than they ever had before. Navigation was perfect. Communications were crystal clear. Even the ship's engines ran more smoothly. "Captain," her engineer reported, "all our systems are running at optimal efficiency. It's like space itself is helping us." "Federation fleet," Dr. Kim announced. "We have reconfigured local space for optimal safety and efficiency. Your vessels should experience improved performance while in our system." "Dr. Kim," Lyra transmitted, "I have to ask, if you've had these capabilities all along, why did you refuse our protection?" The answer came with gentle laughter. "Captain, you offered to protect us because you thought we were weak. We declined because we've been protecting ourselves and you for longer than you realize." Lyra thought about all the times ships had disappeared in empty space. All the times the void swarm had been mysteriously driven back before reaching populated worlds. All the times dangerous phenomena had simply vanished from space lanes. "You've been guarding the galaxy." "Someone has to," Dr. Kim replied simply. "The universe is full of wonderful civilizations creating beautiful things. It would be a shame to let them be destroyed." As the Federation fleet settled into orbit around Earth, Captain Lyra looked down at the small blue planet that had just saved everyone. It looked so peaceful, so harmless. She would never make that mistake again. 3 days after the last void entity vanished into Earth's sun, Captain Lyra was still trying to understand what she had witnessed. Her ship floated peacefully in Earth's solar system, but everything felt different now. "Captain," her engineer reported, "I've completed the full system analysis. Every component on our ship is running better than factory specifications." "How much better?" "Engines are 20% more efficient. Sensors have twice their normal range. Even the food processors are working perfectly for the first time in years." It wasn't just Lyra's ship. Every vessel in the Federation fleet reported the same improvements. Space around Earth had somehow been optimized for peaceful travel. "It's like the entire solar system has been turned into a repair facility," observed Commander Thek from the Dragnari flagship. Ambassador Chen appeared on the main communication channel, speaking from Earth's surface. He looked exactly as he had months ago in the Federation Council. Calm, friendly, and completely ordinary. Federation representatives, he said. Earth extends an invitation for formal diplomatic meetings. We believe it's time for a more complete understanding between our peoples. The gathering took place on Earth's moon. When the alien delegates arrived, they discovered that the lunar surface had been transformed. What looked like barren rock from a distance revealed itself to be a sophisticated facility built into the moon itself. "How long has this been here?" asked Counselor Vrax, as they walked through corridors that seemed to go on forever. "We began construction about 500 years ago," Chen replied casually. "Though major expansion happened after we detected radio signals from your worlds." "You've been watching us for 500 years?" "Monitoring. We wanted to understand what kinds of civilizations existed before making contact." The meeting room was simple but comfortable, with chairs designed for every species present. Large windows showed Earth hanging in space like a blue jewel. Dr. Kim joined them, carrying a tablet with what looked like normal documents. "Thank you all for coming. We thought it was time to answer some questions." General Korath leaned forward, his massive form dwarfing the human furniture. "The first question is obvious. How long have you been able to do what we saw 3 days ago?" "Earth's defensive capabilities have been developing for approximately 2,000 years, Dr. Kim replied, though the current system has been fully operational for about 300. 2,000 years? Counselor Zara's crystal form flashed with confusion. "But humans only achieved spaceflight 50 years ago." Chen smiled the same quiet smile he'd shown in the Federation Council. "Spaceflight for exploration and trade, yes. Our defensive systems have been in space much longer. Why the deception?" "Not deception. Privacy. We've learned that species tend to react poorly when they discover someone has capabilities they don't understand. We thought it was better to remain quiet until we were needed." Dr. Kim activated her tablet, and images appeared in the air above the table. Star charts showing trade routes, patrol patterns, and danger zones. For the past 3 centuries, Earth has been providing security for this entire region of the galaxy. Ships that disappeared in empty space, we relocated them when they wandered into danger zones. Trade routes that stayed mysteriously safe, we cleared them of hazards. Hostile entities that vanished before reaching populated worlds, we dealt with them. "You've been protecting us," Vrax said slowly. "Someone had to. You built wonderful civilizations, but you focused on creation, not destruction. When we realized there were threats out there that could destroy everything you'd built, we decided to handle those threats quietly." Commander Thek made a sound like grinding stone. "But why? What do you gain from protecting strangers?" The question seemed to surprise Chen. "What do we gain? We get to live in a galaxy full of amazing cultures, beautiful art, incredible science, and peaceful trade. Why wouldn't we protect that?" "Most species protect themselves first," Thek pointed out. "We do protect ourselves," Dr. Kim said, "by making sure the galaxy remains a place worth living in." Counselor Zara's form shifted to a warm golden color. "The Void Swarm has been active for millions of years. How many times have you fought them?" "This was the 7th major incursion in our region," Chen replied. "Usually we stop them before they get close to populated worlds. This time, they were more organized, so we had to let them come closer before engaging." 7 times? Lyra felt weak. "They've attacked 7 times, and we never knew?" 6 previous times, Dr. Kim corrected. "We've been refining our techniques with each encounter." General Korath asked the question everyone was thinking. "What else don't we know?" Chen and Dr. Kim exchanged glances. "That's a long conversation," Chen said finally. "But the basic truth is this. Earth has been the galaxy's guardian for 3 centuries. We've prevented 14 major extinction events, stopped 7 different hostile species from expanding into populated space, and neutralized approximately 2,000 smaller threats. The stellar plague that disappeared 200 years ago, Vrax said suddenly. We developed a cure and distributed it through your medical networks, Dr. Kim confirmed. We made it look like natural evolution of your immune systems. The asteroid that was going to hit New Dragnari, Korath added. It just vanished. We moved it. Useful raw materials for construction projects. One by one, the alien representatives began remembering disasters that had mysteriously resolved themselves, threats that had vanished, problems that had somehow fixed themselves. You've been doing this for 300 years, Lyra said in amazement. Why reveal yourselves now? Because the threats are getting bigger, Doctor, Kim replied seriously. The Void Swarm was just the beginning. Our long-range sensors are detecting things moving in the space between galaxies. Things that make the swarm look small. You're saying there are worse threats coming? Much worse. And we're going to need help to stop them. The room fell silent. Finally, Counselor Zara spoke, her voice small. What kind of help? Chen's expression became gentle. The same help you offered us. Ships, technology, knowledge. But mostly, we need you to trust us when we say something is dangerous. You want us to be your allies, Vrax realized. We want to be your allies, Dr. Kim corrected. Earth has been fighting alone for 3 centuries. It's time to work together. General Korath leaned back in his chair. 3 days ago, we thought you were a primitive species in need of protection. And now you know we're the species that's been providing protection, Chen replied. Nothing's really changed, except now you understand the situation. Captain Lyra looked out the window at Earth. So peaceful and blue. When we offered to protect you, you laughed. We didn't laugh, Chen said softly. We were honored. It meant you cared about strangers enough to risk your lives for them. That's exactly the kind of people we've been protecting. The meeting continued for hours, with Earth's representatives sharing carefully selected information about galactic threats, defensive systems, and future challenges. But the most important exchange had already happened. The galaxy's greatest civilizations had learned they had been safe all along, watched over by quiet guardians who asked for nothing in return. As the alien delegates prepared to return to their ships, Dr. Kim handed each of them a small device. Communication units, she explained. Direct link to Earth Defense Command. If you ever detect something that seems dangerous, contact us immediately. You're trusting us with direct access to your military? Thek asked. You offered to die protecting our world, Dr. Kim replied. We think we can trust you with a communication device. As the ships departed Earth's system, their crews carried with them a new understanding of their place in the galaxy. They were not alone, and they never had been. On Earth, children still went to school, markets still operated normally, and life continued as always. The only difference was that now, when Ambassador Chen tended his garden behind his house, he sometimes smiled as ships from across the galaxy arrived to begin joint training exercises. The galaxy had spent centuries building beautiful things. Earth had spent those same centuries learning to protect them. Now they would do both together.